Hey, what is up, everybody? It's Will, and we are here with the brand new PlayStation State of Play Japan on November 11th. Unfortunately, I was unable to make it and see this while it was premiering live, but it's just been a few hours and I've yet to see anything actually come out from this. So we are going to react to the whole thing and just see what this State of Play has. Obviously, it's going to be a focus on, I don't know if it's specifically Japanese game development or just Asian game development in general. But it's one of the two, and I am really interested in to see what kind of games they highlight with this. So let's get into this.
皆さんおはようございます。ステイトオブプレイ日本をご覧いただきありがとうございます。本日 MC を務めます梶裕貴です。今回はステイトオブプレイの特別編として日本やアジア初のゲームにスポットを当ててお届けします。大人気シリーズの最新作から個性豊かなインディータイトルまで最新情報をたっぷりご紹介します。ドラゴンクエスト7リイマジンドからスタートです。
Dragon Quest, nice. That's a franchise I really want to get into. I've only played like one of them.
We made a
back on the
promise to
PS2.
solve the world's mysteries, didn't we?
I know I'd regret missing out on the fun far more than any bother we might get ourselves into.
I haven't thought about it really. I should try doing all the things that humans do.
To find my own purpose, something only I can do.
Did he prevail? Doth he yet rule over this realm?
Yeah, and like, come on, everybody's got to love the character designs in this by Akira Toriyama. And I love how they just kept the cartoony vibe of it, and they never tried to go, like, realistic, like Final Fantasy did. It looks dope.
This is the stuff! You and me battling side by side again. Flame Splitter!
It's pretty cool that they're remaking all of the original Dragon Quest.
There's no time to waste. Here's to one last adventure.
I wish Final Fantasy would do something like this for all the OG Pixel games. That'd be so sick. Hell, even some of the PlayStation 2 games. That was cool if they just
こ
retextured the
の
whole
ド
thing.
ールルックと呼ばれるグラフィック素敵ですね。そして再構築されたシナリオには大人になったキーファがどのような物語が待ち受けているのかお楽しみに。さて続いてはちょっと穏やかな気持ちになれる2作品から発売時期の発表です。インコンビニワンストアメニーストーリーズはささやかな日常を描く心温まる物語。プレイヤーは小さな町のコンビニ店員となり棚に商品を並べたり顔なじみのお客さんと交流したりしながら選択を通じて
Oh my god.
紡いでいきます。
All those like grocery store and card TCG owner simulators taken up to the next level, it looks
イン
like.
コンビニワンストア
Honestly, I'm here for it.
2026年
I would never really play any of those games just because it just seems so low effort.
コーヒートーク東京
But
は
it looks like
東京の
someone's
小さな
finally
カフェを
taking
舞台
those
にした
concepts and like
ノベルアドベンチャーゲーム
elevating them into
プ
like
レイヤーは
full-on
バリス
games
タとな
now
り心温
instead
ま
of
る
just
一杯
like
を入れて
singular
お客様の
game
声に
mechanic.
耳を傾けます。人間はもちろん雪女やカッパなど日本の妖怪の末裔たちもカフェを訪れ悩み
Really,
や
I
喜びを語
sworn
り
this
合
game
い
was
ます。
already. Oh,
コーヒートーク東京は2026年3月5日発売です。
there's a game very similar to this. I'm pretty sure that's already out. Coffee Talk. Yeah, I think it's just called Coffee Talk. Now they're doing Coffee Talk Tokyo.
おや急に静かになった気がしません
We'll
か。
look into that.
なんだか寒気も。さまざまな社会問題に切り込む人気ホラーシリーズ「ブロークンロア」から2作品が登場。1作目は「ブロークンロアアンフォロー」SNS の暗い影に焦点を当てた一人称視点のホラーゲーム。見知らぬ不気味な家で目覚めたアン。 脱出するため過去のトラウマや亡霊たちに追い詰められながらスマートフォンを駆使して出口を探していきます。ブロークンロアアンフォローは2026年1月16日発売です。さらに
Okay.
本日は
That kind of seemed like a jumble of stuff,
ブローク
but
ンロアアセンドを初公開。シリーズおなじみの一人称視点のサバイバルホラーにクライミング要素が加わりました。前作ドントウォッチに引き続き東京が舞台の今作、主人公のレンとユイは動画配信サイトでの名声を求め危険を顧みずに東京タワーに挑みます。そこで2人を待ち受けるのは妖怪六六尾。ブロークンロアアセンドは2026年夏発売予定です。
Ascend. I'm not sure about Ascend. I think I want to see more of that. I can't really tell. That was so brief. Ooh, Team Ninja. Alright, this has got to be good.
A ritual so forbidden that speaking of it is taboo.
Oh my god, wait, is this that one game from PS2?
Must never be seen. If I could capture it with
Are they remaking it or like doing a sequel? Oh wait, no, this is Fatal Frame. Right, there was another... I was thinking of like some other, like it's a more obscure like Japanese horror title that came to the US.
Don't let go. Together.
Man, I keep wanting to get into Fatal Frame, man. Fatal Frames just seems like Silent Hill except for Japan. You know what I mean?
The festival failed. It's all because we ran away. Mayu will be together forever.
Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake.
Yeah, I seriously need to get into that.
Begin.
本日は光栄テクモゲームスよりゼロ赤い蝶リメイクディレクターの柴田さんにお越しいただきました。柴田さん、よろしくお願いいたします。
はい、よろしくお願いします。
2003年に発売されたゼロ赤い蝶が今回待望のリメイクということなんですけれども、
Yeah, I've never really taken and looked into Fatal Frame. It's always been on the periphery of stuff that I want to get into. But I could never really fully tell how much kind of like different gameplay there was into it, or if it was just primarily like one, like it's the camera. Like you have to take photos of the camera, you can only see ghosts on the camera, like that kind of stuff. I wasn't sure if it was just like that one singular mechanic, or if there was like a lot more stuff to it, and that was just one of the things. Similar to like Alan Wake with the flashlight mechanic, how it's like a very heavily like that's the main thing of the game. But now in like Alan Wake 2, there's like a lot more puzzle, it feels like, than the first game had. But still also like keeping all the combat, mostly like flashlight and gun. Which I'm surprised there's still... I have not really seen any games that have tried to do the whole flashlight thing in horror, where you fight off spirits with a flashlight. Although I guess Fatal Frame kind of does that. Although I don't think it's the flash of the camera. I think it's supposed to be the whole like the picture, the photograph steals your soul kind of thing. I think. Again, I need to seriously get into this. Yeah, that outfit, that reminds me of Kunon. Kunon? K-U-O-N. It was like a more obscure like horror Japanese horror title.
いや、発売が待ち遠しいですね。柴田さん、本日はお忙しい中ありがとうございました。ゼロ赤い蝶リメイクは2026年3月12日発売予定です。
Honestly, I feel like they...
そして光栄テクモゲームスから
That's one of the problems with trying to make hyper-realistic games, or not even hyper-realistic, but fairly realistic games. It can come across kind of bland, and like the two main characters there just looked like can't really tell them apart visually that well. Alright, Dynasty Warriors.
Fellow sons of the Yellow Earth.
Honestly, I have not heard anything about the new Dynasty Warriors other than like one person saying it was good.
Peace with our own hands.
Yeah, I wonder if this means that they're gonna try to like shift and do like a whole origin series or something. Or kind of just like soft reset the Warriors story, I guess.
本日は山内さんから追加のお知らせが届いています。早速見てみましょう。
Alright, we got some driving. I feel like we've kind of hit the pinnacle of driving games, really, when it comes to like realistic simulation on a track. Like, I feel like we've kind of peaked that. There's not really too much more we can do with it. There's like, the graphics look pretty realistic, and it's very minimal changes you can make to it. I guess, yeah, that stuff. Like, literally everything outside of the driving part are the things you need to work on now. But yeah, you guys know me. I'm much more of a, like old school Need for Speed street racing kind of racing game person rather than on track.
であともう一つは12月の20日ですね、福岡でグランツーリスモワールドシリーズの最終戦ワールドファイナルが行われます。その会場でも皆さんにお会いできることを今から楽しみにしています。ありがとうございました。
山内和則さん、ありがとうございました。グランツーリスモ7パワーパックでのリアルレーシングにご期待ください。さあ、どんどん参りましょう。記録と再生で道を切り開く新感覚レコードパズルアクションモーションレック。移動する、ジャンプする、そして動きの軌跡を記録して再生する。一見進めそうにない道も記録した動きを別の場所で再生すれば。
This looks very familiar to another like puzzle platformer game that like came out not too long ago, where it was like a little like robot battery guy. And the whole thing was like making connections. It was very similar with the whole like dominantly black
DLC を同梱した完全版がバージョンアップされて PlayStation 5に登場。ピクセルアートで描かれる古代の中国を舞台にしたオープンワールド RPG。主人公は英雄を夢見て旅に出ます。これこそが俺が歩むべき道だ。
Okay, that's cool.
プレイヤーの選択によって変わる20種類のエンディング。戦略もアクションも楽しめる2種類の戦闘モード。
I mean, to be fair, most RPGs take place in like a fantasy world of some sort. And honestly, I haven't really seen too many like Chinese fantasy. That's pretty cool. Oh, I is back?
PlayStation 5と PlayStation 4に登場。特殊捜査官伊達要と彼の左目に埋め込まれた AI 相棒がさらわれたネットアイドルイリスの行方を追います。調査を進める捜査パート、真相心理を探るソムニウムパート、そして
that animation looked a bit rough there, Chief.
脱出パート、3つのパートを行き交い事件の真相に迫ります。
Okay, enhanced visual. Okay, so this was the previous game. I think there's only 2 games. Another series I would also like to get into. Oh?
日本ゲーム大賞2025優秀賞も受賞した首都高バトルがついに復活。首都環状を舞台にカスタムした自分だけのマシンで400人以上のライバルと戦い、新時代の頂点を目指せ。シリーズ独自の SP バトルはドライバーの精神力を
Okay, there we go. That's what I'm looking for when it comes to like a racing game.
速さも重要ですが、
This looks amazing.
こそが勝負を決める鍵となります。首都高バトルは
A little simplistic since it looks like it's all on like overpasses and stuff like that rather than like down on street level, but it looks pretty dope. Wandering Sword looks awesome. I'm excited about that. Honestly, give me an RPG like anywhere other than like a fantasy world, I'll try it out. Like, even if it's like Chinese fantasy or just vaguely based on Chinese history kind of stuff, or based on Chinese folklore rather. Oh, our little rolling ball boy is back. I still need to pick that up. Mari slaps so fucking hard. Gameplay is addicting. Music is like banger after banger. It is one of the chillest, most vibiest games. Like, if someone was to make a list of vibey games, like, that has to be, like, on it. Pac-Man World 2! Okay, this one is definitely not on my bingo card for games want to play.
パックマンワールド2リパックソニック・ザ・ヘッジホックコラボレーションコンテンツはプレイステーション5とプレイステーション4で本日から配信
graphics. Oh, Digimon.
プレイステーション5で発売
Still need to pick this one
デ
up.
ジモンストーリータイムストレンジャーシーズンパスの DLC 第1弾追加デジモン&エピソードパック1アルタネイトディメンションがついに登場
Oh, they're adding in some more Digimon, okay.
個性豊かな5体のデジモンととある人物たちを巡る物語が展開します。
その思いに俺たちも応える。
DLC 第1弾
I wonder if they'll add any new Digimon from the newest season, like the newest series of Digimon, which is like literally coming out as we speak.
今年8月に発売された
Super Robot Wars Y. This is a franchise I've always kind of seen around, but I've never fully understood it, other than it's like all the mech shows in one thing. And having Big O, that's fucking sick. This is sick. I want this in English so bad. I don't know how many there are, though. I'm pretty sure there's like 3, 4, something. Like, there's a few of them, because I remember seeing that one around. Although there's a lot of mech games that they make that do not come into English, unfortunately. Man, having a Big O game would actually be pretty sick. A very, like, jazzy, bluesy, noir-esque game with small stints of, like, playing in a giant robot. That would be fucking cool.
無料タイトルアップデート第4弾の配信日が12月16日に決定しました。
Alright, Monster
このアップデ
Hunter.
ートでは巨撃竜ゴグマジオスが登場予定です。さらにエンドコンテンツの拡充や季節イベント交わりの祭事も予定しています。12月16日から一狩り行こうぜ。
It is a little sad, though, that I feel like Japan
続いては
doesn't have a lot of, like, high-budget indie studios. Like, all of them are basically, like, you know, part of, like, the big two in Japan, where it's, like, they're, like, well-known Nintendo titles or well-known PlayStation titles. Like, very, like, you know Pac-Man, you know Sega, and, like, Sonic and that. And, like, most of these games are put out by companies that have already been putting out games for, like, many years now. Like, 20-plus years for most of them. And it's like, I'm always excited whenever they release a game from, like, a developer I have never heard of in my life. And it's just like, who is that? But I feel like it's a lot rarer in Japan. I think that's probably why I'm so excited for a lot of like Chinese titles that are coming out, since like the Chinese game market is still like, I think it's not unknown, but there's still like a lot of potential there still, despite there being like a bunch of Chinese games coming out. Oh, hello. Witch and the Curse. The Hollow Knight-esque. Alright, who is this getting put out by? This almost looks like a Vanillaware game. Almost. But like, I'd say the art is like slightly less detailed than like some of the stuff we've seen before of them. But yeah, very, like the art style, I'd say was probably closer to a Hollow Knight look than an actual Vanillaware game look. They got a bunch of little extra stuff. Is she supposed to be like a magical girl, and it's supposed to be like a twist on that, or what's this happening? Yeah, oh my god. Frickin' the Hollow Knight fans be eating good. Silksong just dropped, and now there's this. Yeah, even like the back, like, wow. It is very Hollow Knight. Like, even the color palette for like the backgrounds feel extremely similar. Wait a minute. Am I crazy? That elevator literally looks like that's directly from it.
ザ・ウィッチ&ザ・カース開発責任者酒井康臣さんにお越しいただきました。酒井さん、よろしくお願いします。よろしくお願いします。酒井さん、トレーラーではゴーレムのような敵と戦っていたシーンがとても印象的だったんですけど、そのボス戦の魅力、そして他にどんなボスが登場するのか教えていただけますか。
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Like, it's more like, I've never heard of this kind of stuff. Where, like, a lot of this, unfortunately, is, like, IP you know about, or IP, like, IP you've known for a long time and have played, or IP, like, you're at least aware of is, like, kind of more in Japan than it is in America. It's like, I want to see more unique stuff, because we're kind of in the era of a lot of people kind of remaking or remixing their old IPs. He's like, yeah, the new Dynasty Warriors might be lit, but it's Dynasty Warriors. It's been around for like 20 plus years. You know what I mean? Where it's like this, that looks dope. Yes.
DBS を搭載した実験室だ。DBS 起動準備が整いました。
Do we know that character? Two Tails. Arc System Rex. Oh wait, is this Blaze Blue? Or the other one? I always get them confused. There's Blaze Blue and then there's Guilty Gear. Oh, that's Blaze Blue. Oh shit. It's been a while since they've released a Blaze Blue game, and they're going to the platformer, it looks like. Okay, cool. Alright, I've watched a lot of Blaze Blue lore videos, because that shit is fucking busted if you've never gotten into the lore of Blaze Blue. It is crazy. Especially the last couple of years, they really tried to do, like, a lot of, like, different kinds of games. Including, unfortunately, like some mobile stuff, where it's like, I'm never a big fan of mobile-only games. Because especially now, after like Genshin and Honkai Star Rail, it's like mobile games don't need to be exclusively locked on a phone. Like, I cannot tell you what I would give to have like Kingdom Hearts Union Crossing, like some version of that, even if it's just like, here's high-rendered cutscenes. For like PlayStation or something. Back X. That actually looks pretty sick. Okay, hold on. I want to see. When was the last time they released a Blaze Blue? Oh, I think we've seen this. We've seen this, I think maybe at Summer Games Fest. Yeah, I love the HUD. It's very, like, hand-drawn feeling. I love it. It looks really nice. Like, this is 100%, like, you know when you see someone make, like, a piece of art online, and, like, they're trying to be like, oh, it's, like, a screenshot from a video game, but it's, like, very clearly just, like, their own art style version of it. Like, you see that a lot with Pokemon. That's what the UI looks like in here, where it looks like someone who's trying to make, like, a fun, quirky piece of art based on, like, a video game. Which is, like, a very specific kind of, like, cartoony, fun style. It looks cool. I love that. Oh, shit! That's...
強靭なドラゴンや妖艶なサキュバスなど10魔の種類は全部で16種類。一緒に戦わせるのはもちろん
Once again, another franchise I want to get into. I did the first game way back when it was the PS2, and I watched the anime. And that was it. And this is a franchise I've always wanted to get back into, but never have the opportunity to. What the hell is that? Wait, what was that? That didn't fully look like a... I need to go back and rewatch that, because that's famously, that game we just saw, that franchise is famously a turn-based game. Okay. I feel like they probably should have... Oof, no. That's one of the big three styles. See, there's three big styles. There's hyper-realistic. There's this style where the characters look very anime, but then, like, the scenery looks reasonably realistic. And then there's, like, hyper, like, cartoony, or, like, more of a Fortnite-y. Those are, like, the three big art styles, generic-ass art styles that are happening. But that one, I think you should have went full anime with it and tried to make it fully cartoony looking. Like, more, like, cel-shaded. I think that would have made that stand out more. So yeah, another team-based shooter. And about on that one. Oop, okay, Square Enix, what do you got, buddy? I seriously doubt they're gonna announce a new Final Fantasy, but still. What do you got? Oh, no. Kingdom Hearts definitely wouldn't happen. I would have seen that on my timeline. That would have been spoiled immediately for me. We got subtitles on subtitles. Is this another... Okay, there is a bit of a problem with these style games. And that's the art style of multiple franchises kind of look exactly the same. Okay, Octopath Traveler, there's Triangle Strategy, and then there's, I think there's a third one that also has, like, a very similar look. And I'm not just talking about, like, the 2.5 art style that it is. I'm talking, like, color palette-wise. Like, it looks indistinguishable one from the other, instead of them having very drastically different art styles. Like, you're still using pixel art, but you can look at pixel art games and see drastically different art styles with pixel art, as well as color palettes. But unfortunately, a lot of these 2.5 ones have kind of become very samey, and they've all kind of, like, only taken, like, what Octopath has done and kind of just continued down that same artistic path. Although this is Octopath 0, so, like, that makes sense. But there's, like, a few others where it's like, I think they should look way different than Octopath.
You said it. I'm ready when you are. Fame is nothing more than
like, it seems to me like they're trying to do, like, a more grounded, slightly muted color palette, where you could definitely make a game like this, which is, again, more cartoony, more vibrant. Why is that such a trend happening again? Or not even again, it's just like, I feel like nobody's made a game in this art style that's, like, hyper pop, you know? Or just very, like, neon. I think that would be super sick. Dude, let's get, like, a cyberpunk game in that art style. That'd be sick.
体験版の配信を開始します。体験版はゲーム冒頭3時間をプレイできます。体験版でプレイした内容は本編発売時に引き継ぎが可能です。主人公のキャラクターメイクや序盤のストーリーをお楽しみください。本日はアークシステムワークスからマーベル闘魂ファイティングソウル
Oh shit, I did not hear anything about
アートディレ
this.
クターの黒坂さんにお越しいただきました。お二人ともどうぞ。
Oh yes, and I was looking into Blaze Blue, and the last time they released the game was the cross tag battle, which is like, it doesn't really count as a full-on game. It's like the crossover game with a bunch of other titles. That came out in 2018, was the last Blaze Blue game. So it has been over 5 years since the last Blaze Blue game.
プロタイトル日本から世界へというキーワードを掲げて開発してまして、マーベルってもともとやっぱりアメリカで生まれてアメリカで育ってきた今や巨大な
Honestly, I'd love to see the behind the scenes of these kind of games. Even Marvel Rivals, where it's like, how, like, I know that like American comic books are nowhere near as popular in like Asia than they are in America, and already I'd say like they're pretty low tier in America. Like when you look to like people who are a fan of comic books versus people who are a fan of even manga in America, a lot more people are fans of manga than American comics. But it's like, it would be so interesting to see their perspective of how big, like obviously they translate comic books into Japanese, like that's a thing, but it's on a way smaller scale. So it's like interesting to see these people come into this whole world of like comics that they might have minimal relationship with outside of like the Marvel movies, to see like someone's like first experience reading all of these like American stuff and learning it. That would be super dope to see, because very rarely do you actually get to see that experience. Because even now, like, Girly Book Talk got into One Piece, which has been exploding everywhere online over the last few weeks. It feels like even more people are getting more mainstream, or more manga is getting more mainstream, where even regular, just normal book channels are starting to review manga and stuff, which is dope. But at the same time, I feel like really overlooking like American comic books too. Wow, that looks fucking sick. That background looks amazing. Okay, so far I don't think they've introduced any new characters. It's just the same handful. New beta. Yeah, they already did one beta, and I heard that it went pretty well.
いやー、ワクワクさせられましたね。どんな展開になるのか期待です。
Yeah, that X-Men background looks super sick.
X マンションのステージですよね。こちらは新しいステージなんでしょうか。
Yeah, I wonder what the biggest inspirations for them were. If they went to like other media, like the cartoons, or if they kind of stuck with comic books for research. Because like Marvel Rivals, like they have some like deep cut like comic outfits. I wonder like how much of it is their decision and how much of it is like a team at like American Marvel being like, here's some ideas for suits and do these. Or if it's their own team that like looks through the comics and finds it. Like small stuff like that, I want to know. Like, what kind of influences do the actual creators have, and how much of it is like Marvel just kind of telling them like, do a variation on this. Reyes. I do not know a lot about Ghost Rider, but he is probably one of my favorites just because I love the fucking Charger. That car is so sick.
ストーリー的にですね、今回ちょっと若い方の、ゴーストライダーを出したいというちょっと事情がありまして、描きたかったっていう事情がありまして、今回はジョニー・ブレズ
Almost said Jaime Reyes, and I'm like, nope, that's Blue Beetle.
なるほど。僕もマーベルファンの
Wait, is it Reyes? Is his last name? His first name's Jaime.
ユニバースにも関わらせていただいているので、今作がどのように広がっていくのかとても楽しみです。それでは最後に世界中のファンの皆さんに向けてメッセージをお願いします。
このゲーム、皆さんのお力を 元にもっともっといいゲームにしていきたいと思っていますので、ぜひ第2回クローズドベータテストにもご参加いただきまして、皆さんが感じたことをご意見ご要望をですね、いただければと思います。
I just can't wait until they announce at least 2 more, like, there's gotta be at least 2 more full teams, right? Or is it gonna be like a super slow burn where it comes out and then they just like piece you one character through DLC? I hope not. I hope there's at least 2 more teams, which still, that's a lot of characters. And honestly, the teams aren't even really fixed to be like this specific set of team members on, or like these specific members can only be a part of this team. It's very like you pick and choose, but like for most of the promotions, it's mainly been like the same 2 groups on each team. And I wonder if there's full team group synergy. Are we getting new DLC? Or new like updates? I have not been keeping up with Night Raid at all. Like after I think the first 3 months it's been out.
This Dreadlord.
I severely fell off. It is Jaime Reyes. They're both named Reyes. For Blue Beetle and Ghost Rider. I wonder if there's a reason behind that. Like, is that like a particularly popular last name for like people of like American, I think Mexican? Descent. Pretty sure he's Mexican, right? Am I wrong about that? Forsaken Hollows. Honestly, I feel so bad when they show us stuff like that because it's like, I can't tell. Is that in the base game or not? Like, it just, it all kind of blends together. You know?
お楽しみいただけましたでしょうか。私も早くプレイしたいゲームばかりです。PS5 の5周年という節目に改めて PS5 の体験を
Oh my god, it's been 5 years.
いくつかのニュースを共有します。PS5 の体験といえば、デュアルセンスワイヤレスコントローラーです。PS5 をお買い上げいただくと、
A lot of people were speculating that they might try to do some sort of console thing with this. They've already released like the PS5 Pro, which I feel like they released that way too early. Because honestly, at this point, it's only going to be very small updates that they can do to the PS5. I don't know if they made a big enough leap to make a PS6 yet. I think the biggest factor will be basically how cheap can they make it, and if they can make it like half the price of like a gaming PC, then they should make like a PS6. You know what I mean? Because like at this point, like, yeah, a computer will always be better than a console because you can always actively update it. So I feel like it has to be like heavily, like, this is much stronger than the PS5, and I feel like there hasn't been enough graphics cards that have come out to like really push graphics far enough forward to warrant, okay, let's look into making a PS5. I feel like the best they could do is like do like a streamlined version of the PS5 where it's like it's a little bit cheaper and light, like physically lighter, but it's still just as strong. I don't think they've really got enough stuff to like level it up, because I think at this point if they tried to make it more like on par with the PC, they're only going to be making it more expensive. Oh, dude, they're doing another monitor. Y'all might not remember this, but I think it was back at the PS3. They tried to do a PlayStation 3D monitor where you had 3D glasses. I completely forgot that they released speakers. Oh my god. I feel like the speakers flopped. I feel like the handheld device I never hear anyone talk about. And now they're releasing a monitor, which I have not heard anything about, so that's okay.
日本でより多くのプレイヤーの皆さんに PS5 そして素晴らしいゲームをお楽しみいただきたい
Yeah, like I said, I think the only way they ever do a PS5, I mean PS6, is if current day graphics cards on in PCs, if they figure out how to like make them same level of like graphical like capability, but cheap enough where it's like here's a pre-built thing that you can't really upgrade. It's like maybe $500. I think that's the only way they can do a PlayStation 6 at this point, because I think the graphics are just like it's hit its peak. Or like I said, if they do a like lighter, like here's like more slimmed down PlayStation 5 that's lighter and cheaper, but it's still got the same power level. All right. Well, that was okay. Like this is kind of what I expected. A lot of it kind of being updates on titles and brands and companies we already know, with a handful of new stuff. So that's pretty dope.
作品ごとに異なる魅力がたくさん詰め込まれています。時には仲間と一緒に、時には一人でじっくりと。プレイステーションにはあらゆる遊び方があります。この番組が皆さんの次の冒険のきっかけになれば嬉しいです。それではまたお会いしましょう。ありがとうございました。
Yeah, I'm kind of afraid that like PlayStation is starting to make too many peripherals, like with the monitor and the speakers and stuff, because like I'm gonna be legit with you guys. I don't think I will ever buy that. Hold on, I'm trying to find the one game that plays blue. It's the next game I wanted to take a look at. Yeah, Disgaea. This I'm actually super excited about, because honestly, they just came out like maybe 4 years ago, they came out with Dissidia 7. So there's been 7 of these games, and I feel like this series has always been super niche in the West. Despite all of them being like translated into English, I never hear anyone talk about Disgaea, Dissidia. I can't remember how to pronounce it. But yeah, this I'm super down for. I think this would be a super dope game. And honestly, out of everything here, I'd say the 2.5D like Chinese turn-based game, that one I was super excited for, and this one. So out of everything they've shown, I'd say those 2 games are probably the 2 that I'm most excited about. But even like the one right before this, the Devil and the Baby, this one, I'm kind of interested in looking into, just because, like I said, the UI, the art style of the UI looks so fun and poppy. It's like, I like this. I want to support this, and I hope the studio does more in this like fun, cartoony, quirky style. Because I feel like we need more of this. Because unfortunately, when it comes to indie games, we've kind of like I said, there's the big 3 art styles at this point. It's either hyper, trying to go really realistic, trying to go halvesies anime / realistic, which always comes out to have realistic characters and anime characters and semi-realistic backgrounds. Think of like Withering Waves is a good example of this, where it's like, I think you should go all in on the anime and like cell shaded stuff, because that makes it pop and look different. Or it's like full on Fortnite, where it's like very like, it feels very clay-like in its visual style, almost in like its cartooniness. But there's still so many different art styles out there that people can use or make up that are basically almost exclusively relegated to indie studios at this point. And it's just like, could you imagine if they did? I can't even think of it. I think one of the best examples is probably oh my god, why am I drawing a blank on its name? Hades. Like, if Hades had like a large AAA studio budget, like their studio's like really good, but but I'd still consider that, but they're still like an indie studio, you know? And there's always like a huge gap between the budgets of an indie studio and like a big AAA studio. And Yeah, it would be insane to see like one of like if Insomniac went super hard on like a cartoony cell shaded look game, like what would that look like? Like I think the closest we get is like Ratchet and Clank, which looks super stylistic and fun and cartoony, but in like a in more of a Pixar way. You know what I mean? Which Insomniac can't wait to see like what they've been working on. Obviously, they've been working on Wolverine. They've shown that off a few months ago. I'd love to see if they're working on any kind of Ratchet and Clank like game, which I need to look into this, but I don't think they've really made any other mascot characters or attempted to make any kind of other mascot character games other than Ratchet and Clank. It's like I'm wondering if at any point someone was like, I like Ratchet and Clank, but what if we do a twist on like this genre, but with the Ratchet and Clank like kind of art style and like script writing? Because from what I remember, Ratchet and Clank always had like a very light and fun uh like characters and like script writing and stuff. And it was like it felt more cartoony where it was just like fun and wacky, where it's like, I want to see that. I think that's cool. Because like there's way too many games, irregardless of the art style, they always try to write it either dramatic or serious, where it's like I feel like we can lean way more into like zany cartoony territory with a lot more games. But I feel like people don't do that because they want to have their game taken serious. But anyway, sorry about all the yapping, guys. I came a bit late to the party on this one. Sorry about that. But I still wanted to get this in, and I will have it uploaded and put out as soon as possible. But yeah, that is it for this. Pretty good. Like I said, this was mostly what I expected, except for those two games. Yeah, Disgaea, holy shit. Did not see that coming at all. That not only one, would that even be here, but two, it's here and it's not a turn-based game. Because again, that series has been around for like 20 years and it's always been turn-based. So doing something different in there, I'd say, is big news. And I've always wanted to go back and try those games, which I think all of them are on PlayStation, on the like PlayStation Network. So I should really go back and give those a shot. But anyway, that is gonna be it for now, guys. Thank you for coming out and hanging out. Like always, links down below for all the usual stuff, my Blue Sky, my Twitter, and links over to my YouTube channel, where all my streams and videos are always kept over there. And I will catch you all tomorrow with some Genshin Impact.